ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। गणनाहं त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमस्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन् ऊतिभिस्नेदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनाम वित्रयवतु। गणेशाय नमः। सरस्वत्यै नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। सुमुखश्च एकदन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णकः लम्बोदरश्च विकटो विघ्नराजो विनायकः धूमकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षः फालचन्द्रो गजाननः वक्रतुण्डः शूर्पकर्णो हेरम्बः स्कन्दपूर्वजः शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। यस्य विरदवक्त्राद्याः पारिषद्याः परस्सतम् विघ्नं निघ्नन्ति सततं विश्वक्सेनं तमाश्रये। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। उल्लङ्घ्य सिन्धोः सलिलं सलीलं यः शोकवह्निं जनकात्मजायाः आदाय तेनैव तदाह लङ्कां नमामि तं प्राञ्जलिराञ्जनेयम्। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनामवरानने। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनामवरानने। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनामवरानने। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनामवरानने। श्रीरामनामवरानन ओम नमः इति। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। With Swami's grace, let us continue where we left off in our last session. And Dasharatha was arguing, putting forward several aspects and angles of argument and logic and reason to change Kaikeyi's mind. He continues. He said, how can I bear the dishonor of being talked about like a fool now when I plunge into this lowest level of conduct that you want me to do? Then he continued. He said, how is fair name? And he has had a blemishless reputation so far. And all these now will be thrown aside, will come to naught if he fulfills her desire. But when he continued, in spite of all his pleadings and reasonings and all that, Kaikeyi now transformed herself into a Rakshasi of destruction. She completely dismissed, brushed aside all the pleadings and the reasonings that Dasharatha was putting forward. She completely pushed aside as if they were empty words, and she didn't put any slightest value even to them. She refused to yield. She refused to budge. But she actually, her resolve and her grip on her own course of action was only getting stronger and tighter every moment. And now her greed has also has taken strong hold, and that is growing. Deep-rooted it was now. She spoke absolutely opposite, contrary to what the Maharaja's appeal was, and insisted that only the promise that he has made he has to keep, and that there is no other recourse to save his name. Then Dasharatha said, Kaikeyi, if it happens that Rama goes to the forest I will not be able to bear it even for 1 minute longer. Now, I don't have to tell you what will happen to Kausalya. She will immediately breathe her last. And Sita, what do you think is going to happen to Sita? She will be absolutely mortally shocked. And she cannot even live 1 second away from Rama. And you think the people, all the citizens, everybody will look at all this with absolute balanced mind and say, yes, everything is fine? No. When that great hero, the greatest hero of them all, and the wisest person of them all, Rama, is being banished and sent to exile in the forest, you think can Lakshmana keep behind? You think he will keep quiet? Why do I have to give you all these granular details, thousands of things? That very moment Rama goes, Lakshmana will also give up his body. This is the truth. This is what's going to happen. Then our kingdom will have to suffer all these catastrophes and calamities. You too. Now you're very aware that these kind of chain reaction, the events that are going to take place. But I cannot understand, even after knowing and understanding about this is what's going to take place, why you are attempting, why you are insisting with your eyes wide open to fall into the role of a widow. You wicked, vile soul, he was scolding her. I have been deceived, cheated by your charms and good looks. It was like cutting one's own throat. That is what I have had. And when I didn't know there was poison in it, I drank a cup of milk, unaware that it had poison mixed in it. You cheated me, Kaikeyi, with all the tricks that you have been playing on me. Now you have sprung upon to destroy the whole dynasty itself. Shame on me, he was saying. Shame on me. What a fool I have been. After many, many long years and tapas and prayers and devotion, I got this son. After performing a scriptural yaga, a sacrifice, divine grace was bestowed upon me. Now, am I to throw away this fortune in a trice? Just because of a paltry, worthless pleasure that a woman gives me? No. Is this the worthy of his emperor Dasaratha? No. Now, even the meanest being in our kingdom will throw stones at me if I do that. Because everybody will deride me. Everybody will deride me, Kaikeyi. Now, is this to be the fate of Dasaratha in his last days? Now, I put a thing around my neck, not realizing that it was a rope that is actually strangling me. I never knew that it was the deity of death itself with whom I have played around all these years. And I flirted with death. Now I fondled it very on my breast. I treated you as my favorite, as my friend, as my companion. Now all the sins that I have committed are now recoiling and jumping on me right now. Or else, at any time, in any place, is there any such a thing called a father who, for the sake of a woman's bad drive, sends his son to the forest where there is no comfort, there is fear and danger, sends his son in exile to such a forest? Has anything like this ever happened? What a strange behavior is this for a human being. I'm unable to believe this. In spite of everything, Kaikeyi, I'm not able to believe this, that you're doing this. Change your foolish thought. You're being absolutely idiotic. Rama will not go against my word. The moment I say, he will not go against it. The very report, if the news reaches him that this is what we are discussing, that is enough for him. Immediately he will leave. Immediately he will prepare. I know him. He won't ask even the slightest question. No. Why? He will not, never ask anyone, why are you so anxious to send me to the jungle? He is of such a paragon of virtue, exemplar of dharma, he will not ask any reason. All, if he comes to know that this is what we are discussing, immediately he will leave. And not a single one of my sons will disobey my commands, Kaikeyi. Bharata, when he comes back, when he hears about this, he'll be disgusted when he hears of your plan. He may even ignore the fact that you are his mother, and completely he might disown you, and he will take any dire step required. No, Rama is his very life, his breath, very vital breath, all the 5 breaths put together. That's how they feel, think about Rama. That's how they relate to him. Now, Bharata may do something to defeat your stratagem, Kaikeyi. Don't forget it. That is to say, he may exile himself to the forest and ask Rama, return and be crowned. He will do that. He is the paragon of virtue, goodness and dharma. Dharmic values he has got. I'm wondering at your crooked buddhi, Kaikeyi, crooked buddhi, which you cannot even begin to understand, begin to think what Bharata will think like. You cannot understand Bharata's mind, Kaikeyi. Wicked, evil designs or first come are precursors of destruction. Viparita kale vinasa buddhi, as the saying goes. Now you have thought of this evil design. That means you are going to be ruined. Remember that. Now you are the fare, the reputation, and the glory of the Ikshvaku dynasty, the clan we have had for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, that fair name, that reputation, that glory is now going to be blotted by your behavior. Now you are bringing an end to the Ikshvaku clan, the dynasty. Can't you see it? So many people have to be hurt just because of one person's desire? What happiness do you hope to have, Kaikeyi, after doing all this? How do you think you're going to be happy? Even if you achieve your goal, you think you'll get ananda? You think you'll be happy? Can you really be? Shame on you, Kaikeyi. Now, there are people who are very happy when others are sad. When others are miserable, people are very happy. They are the truest sinners and the darkest of human beings. They are actually demons. When somebody else is suffering and you become happy when somebody is suffering, you are the meanest demon. And whereas those who serve, those who always attempt, those who always act to give joy and happiness to others, and those who sincerely yearn for others' happiness, they are the good ones, they are the holy ones, they are the sacred ones. You are a queen, you are a princess, you are born in royalty. Yet, you are not conscious, you are not aware of this elementary basic truth. You disgrace the whole royal blood. One final word I will tell you. Rama is my very life. Without him, I cannot hold on to life. No, I cannot continue to live. Dasharatha is saying, Rama will not disappoint you. So, though I may not order him by word of my own mouth to go into the forest, once he comes to know about my oath and your desire, he himself will proceed to the forest in order to make my word valid and true. He will not undertake even the slightest delay in carrying it out. He will not get into a debate about it. As soon as I hear that Rama has done that, no, Kaikeyi, remember, at that time, I will draw my last breath. I will breathe last. Lakshmana, Sita, Kausalya, they all, in probably all likelihood, they may follow Rama. Kausalya cannot live alive without separate from Rama, impossible. And Sita, of course, will not stay away from Rama. Lakshmana cannot walk except in the shadows and footsteps of Rama. Now Urmila too may go with them. Who knows? She may follow Lakshmana. There will be no one left here. Then, remember, to perform even the last rite for this body of mine. And then, there will be some days will be gone before Bharata and Shatrughna can return from the Kekaya kingdom. Till then, my body will have to lie waiting for the last rites. Now, it's possible that citizens of Ayodhya may revolt, may rise up against me for having descended to such a low level of conduct, of wickedness, and then they may condemn that my body be thrown to crows, to vultures, because it does not deserve to be disposed of properly. They may say that. No, perhaps they may say that. Perhaps everybody will wait till Bharata returns. Then they may embalm my corpse and wait for him to come. Bharata will never agree to accept the throne of the kingdom. Never. And he will never agree to be king. Under such circumstances, what's going to happen? He is not entitled to touch the body or perform the last rites. Come, tell me, at least promise me one thing, Kaikeyi, that you will have my funeral rites performed by Bharata, by him, he requested. Then he continued, of course, I'm sure you're ready to promise me, so you promise me anything I want you to promise me, because you are after this illusionary, deceptive happiness that you think you're going to derive from a widow's life. That's what you will become. What is it that you really want, Kaikeyi? What is it you hope for? Tell me. You are an evil snake, he says. You have turned into a Rakshasi, a demon. Are you undermining? Are you laying under the earth the Raghu clan, the Ikshvaku dynasty, the Raghu Vamsam? Is this has been all your stratagem and design all along in your demonic nature? Or is it some mysterious divine fate that is compelling your thought and forces you to act against your will in this strange way? Now Dasaratha is speaking the truth. He himself is wondering, how come a person of stature and caliber of Kaikeyi can turn 180 degrees with such an evil design? So he is wondering, is it because there is a divine impulse that is pulling you, that is giving this thought to you and compelling you to act against your own nature? I am not, it's beyond me to understand this, he says. Now, well, Dasaratha, of course, going through mental torture like this, the night was rolling on and came to the third quarter of the night, 3/4 of the night gone. He was groaning. He was in tremendous pain, mental pain, physical pain, very weak. He was agonizing. Then he tried his best to win back the love and affection of Kaikeyi and to persuade her to accept the coronation of Rama. He began to flatter her in very sweet words. "Oh Queen," he said, "you are the very embodiment of Mangalam, auspiciousness and prosperity. All along I've treated you like my very breath. You too also behaved with me and treated me as if I'm your own heart. Come on, let us spend the remaining years together without giving room for any scandals and about any differences between us. Let us be peaceful. Let us be happy during the rest of our lives. Come on. Oh, charming princess," he said, "I will not live many, many more years. I'm getting very old. Throughout my life, I've earned the reputation as a true adherent of Satyam. And all people honored me and they still respect me because of that. Now, I have taken a public swearing oath that Rama will be crowned tomorrow as your Raja. Now, think, Kaikeyi, how my subjects, my citizens will despise me, will hate me if the function does not take place. Consider how they will insult me and how they will deride me. You saved me that day, yes, during that battle between Devas and Asuras. But you are giving me up now when something worse than that battle is threatening me? This is not right, Kaikeyi. It's not just. Well, I will tell you what. I will give you the entire kingdom as dowry. Even though he is married a number of years, he said, I'll give the whole kingdom to you. You yourself crown Rama as his mother tomorrow. And Bharata too will be very happy if you do that. Not only me, all the ministers, the sages, the elders, the scholars, common citizens, entire population of Ayodhya and the kingdom will appreciate. And thank you very much if you do that. Your fame and reputation will grow leaps and bounds on this earth. Now, instead of doing that, if you create obstacles in the way of Rama's coronation, the whole world will castigate and condemn you. Even your son will find fault with you and will move away from you. You think you are being very clever. This is cruelty, Kaikeyi. All this fanciful thinking you got, it will only ruin you. Now, not only it will ruin you, it will bring shame on the whole Ikshvaku clan. Then you will become the target of everybody's condemnation. That even the smallest person will insult you, will deride you. If you think about all this, reflect on this carefully. Either earn eternal fame, a good reputation by crowning Rama yourself, and then if you stop the stratagem, if the strategy that you got to prevent the coronation, give it up, then you can earn the long-lasting reputation. Crown Rama with your own hands tomorrow. Then Dasharatha was describing the joy and happiness she will derive from this generous act in very sweet, loving, persuasive words. And he was being extremely eloquent, very artfully using the words. And then he hoped that with that sweet talk that he could persuade and change her and all that. But Kaikeyi interrupted him and said, "O king, you speak all this. Your words, they strike me and very strange and meaningless, absolutely meaningless. Now all you're trying to do with all these words you're speaking, what are you really doing? You're sliding back, going back on the promise you gave me. And then to cover up your own sin, because you gave me the word, and the boons belong to me, and you're not able to keep up your own word, and in order to cover up that sin of not being able to keep up your word, now you are spinning all these yarns, fascinating yarns. No. 1,000 such tricks will not induce me to change my mind. You said, in your own words, ask the boons you desire, I shall grant them. And now, instead of acting on that promise, you exhibit all these actings and dramas and sighing and groaning and crying and all this. No, you don't deserve this. This is not you. You are, by your own conduct, undermining your own reputation and honor. Not me. Nothing to do with me, she said. It's your own conduct that you're undermining. It's your own word, your inability, your difficulty, and you want to go back on your word. That is undermining your reputation and honor. I am not in the least bit responsible for this suffering of yours, she says. Recollect, Maharaja, the pronouncements and the teachings of those who are masters of dharma, that Satya is the highest dharma. They say Satya, truth is the highest dharma. Satyam nasti paro dharmaha. Satya is the parama dharma, the highest dharma. Now, I too I have based my request to you for those promised boons on the same principle of dharma. Now, you are a follower of dharma. You too agreed and said, yes, right, the boons will be granted. You only said that. Now, you started putting all these motives on me which are not there. You're assigning all the blames on me, no, which are not there. No, that as if I am pushing you into adharma, as if I am committing an unpardonable mistake, as if I am attempting to bring infamy and dishonor to the kingdom. This is most improper, Maharaja, she said, most improper, and it is totally, thoroughly unjustifiable. That's what she said. I am absolutely innocent of any wrong in this matter, she continued. You made the solemn promise without thinking on the past or the future. And when this promise had to be put into action, now all of a sudden you become confused and desperate? Come on, the fault is yours, not mine. Those who promise and are not willing to act according to their promise are sinners of the greatest magnitude. Act as the promise directs you to. Then the truth you have maintained, the satya that you have honored, will itself wash away any associated sins. Don't you remember, Maharaja? In the past, Emperor Sibi sliced flesh from his own body as food for an eagle because he wanted to keep a promise he made to the eagle pursuing a dove for food that day. So too, Emperor Alarka had pledged his word that he would give whatever was asked from him. So he was a king of unique splendor and reputation. And to keep up his promise, he plucked and gave a Brahmin his own 2 eyes. Look at the ocean. It is the lord of all the rivers, Maharaja, yet it is bound by its own promise and vow. It limits itself between the shores. It never crosses it. It doesn't transgress. It doesn't go beyond it. Why repeat 1,000 examples? For all things, for all men, Satya is the highest authority, the highest ideal. Satyam is Brahman. Satyam is the primeval, the primal sound, Om. Satyam is Dharmam. Satyam alone undergoes no change whatever and does not decrease. And royal kings like you should not give up the imperishable, the permanent hold, the support, the Satyam, for the sake of the perishable, the temporary ones. You should not know, you should not give up. Hold fast to the promise you made and ensure that you get lasting, enduring fame because you kept your word and therefore you acted according to the principles of Satyam. That's the right thing to do. Do not yield to your attachments to your son and your deceptive sympathy for women. Do not overrule the dictates of political idealism, she says. There's idealism in politics. Don't overrule it. There is also obligation that a king has got. Don't overrule that just because you're attached to your son. No. Do not tarnish. Now she is accusing him. Do not tarnish the Ikshvaku dynasty with this dishonor, irredeemable. When you go against your word, the moment you break it, you're moved away from Satyam, and that becomes irreparable dishonor on the whole kingdom. So don't do that. Don't plan any other way, Maharaja, she continued. Call Rama to your side and tell him to get ready to proceed to the forest and immediately start preparing to call Bharata from where he is now to come here to the city. Instruct the minister now to attend to the 3 matters without delay. See, now the dawn is coming. Eastern sky is getting bright. These 2 boons must be realized before dawn. However long you argue, I will not be content with anything less than those 2 boons. Now, on the other hand, if you're adamant and if you really stubborn and obstinate that you're going to go and complete the proceedings and coronate Rama, I am determined to end my life in full view of the thickly packed assembly. This is my vow. This shall happen. She says that. And we'll continue tomorrow. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.